Alright, Chapter 11, Auxiliary Electrical, Section 4, Auxiliary Equipment, tm55202, Operation Maintenance of a Diesel Electrical Locomotive. 109, Lighting System. General locomotives lighting. Paragraph that are connected with the low voltage auxiliary power system. Most of them operate with the battery voltage. Any lamp of the low voltage rating with the resistor installed with the series lamp to drop at the voltage same time is proper to the value of the few essential lamps which are individual switches connected directly into the battery. All other lamps will be receive power only after the battery switch is closed, except for the steady circuit at the standing of the lighting of the frequently provided through a transfer switch transformer outside of the receptacle. Transformer switch of the throws the lighting circuit of the locomotive supplies with the outside of the supplies connected through the outside of the receptacles. The former reduces the voltage outside of the circuit as used as a locomotive essential with the rating primary to the transformer matching outside of the powered lighting switches which adjacent with the lighting having the nameplates designed and circuit of the modern switch with a small circuit of the breaker which protects the circuit from faults and overloads. Early switches of the toggle push button types the required and final and infuses in the line for protection. Some of the circuits dimming in the rheostat may be partial switch or mounted separate. Lights are designated as follows. Cab lights, usually in the cab ceiling, are illuminating the cab. Engine room lights illuminating the engine compartment, called the hood lights on the same models. Instrumented or gauge light and provide dim lighting and indicating the instrumental cab lights are out. Cabinet lights installed in the equipment cabinet should be used whenever necessary to identify any manual control equipment in the cabinet. Running lights consist of the number of the lights, classifying the lights and marking the track lights, which are installed according to the operating conditions for which the locomotive is originally built, and red and green lenses provided each of the classification light can be moved in the position near the bulb, but the bulb guides the accomplished looking and pan and removed, thus the desired lens swung in the place of looking pan and replace gold lenses accessible outside hood since the classification light and mounted on the hinge portion of the hood. When both red and green lenses are in position, the permanent bullseye lens shows a white light, and making these colors available. Headlights are usually provided with each end of each light of the separate switch of the cab can be set to bright, dim, the off position. The switches are incorporated with one of the 5 position headlight dimming switches, which can be set to the rear full, rear medium, and front dim, front and rear. Front full, front medium positions. Headlight circuits locomotives used in multiple operation may be run for the end of the jumpers to the special electors and the switches remote and the headlights of the controlling cab. The nameplate of the switching gives the instructor using the switches. The cab heater defrost. The cab heater defrosts in the locomotive to keep the engine men comfortable in cold weather. The hot water type of the connected is the engine water system supplies the heat. All small electrical is built with the heater to circulate air over the water coils of the cabinet. Heat switch that connects the cab to the auxiliary power lines for the fan speed verify the rheostat incorporated with the switch. Cocks are provided with the shutting off of the flow of the water for the drainage of the heat. All electrical essential is the same as the hot water except for the heat element in the electrical coil. Their defrosters work on the same principle, having the separated the control switch. Another method consists of the ducts through which they air the engine radiators force in the cab and the cab windows. 111 auxiliary power system. An alternator provided with some locomotives alternating current powers the fans and the blower. The stator contains at least 3-phase output winding the field of the wounding of the rotor, and the field contactor supplied with auxiliary generator, the no voltage relay, and the connected to the output circuit to provide the protection against the failure of the alternating current. The fuse and the circuit breaker is in the line supplying the alternator field, but the circuit is open. Therefore, there is no AC power output. The alternator is attached to the main generator frame, is driven by the engine speed for the main generator shaft. The voltage frequency of the alternator output therefore varies the engine speed. The speed of the motor by the alternator varies for the frequency of their power. The system supplies for the varies in the engine supply. B. The other types of auxiliary power may be installed with the locomotive but have nothing to do with the locomotive as a motive power. There may be such equipment simply utility cars. Some operations are personal or not likely to encounter some of such equipment. These systems are vary in voltage and frequency according to the purpose. They may be used to supply the train lighting and the train communication, train control, which requires constant special and regulated power, special load to the trailing cars and mostly passenger trains. 112. The steam generator. Steam generator is installed in locomotives, the passenger trains, ambulance trains to provide steam heat for the cars in cold weather. Independent oil-fired heating of the unit when they operated automatically after being started. Fuel operating steam pressure is reached within few minutes of the steam generated. Part of the unit consists of 3 slots of cold water, which will be heated and connecting in the series of the single tube, several feet, 100 feet long feed water is passing for the heat exchanger to go through the economizer coil from the main coils to the steam generator. As water progressing through the coils converted into the steam has furnished the combustion diesel fuel and sprayed. Here you see the rear medium front, and the front fuel for 1. The headlight switch controls the single units, intermediate units controlling with the unit coupled to number 2 and number 1 end, and controlled from another couple on at either end. By compressed air atomizing the fuel spray heading in the fire pot of the egg coils, the fire oil sprays mixes supplies with the blower ignited with a continuous electrical spark. The hot gases fall first downward and outward to meet the finals. Following the out of the stack, the supply of the fuel regulated with the evaporated 90-95% water pipe through the coils. The excessive water and the seals of the sludge of the coils that caused by the steam of the steam separated with the water sludge removed from the steam flows to the train line. This excess water collects in the bottom of the steam separator. Water's above the level of the return outlet from the steam trap through the heat exchanger, where it gives up the heat of incoming water from the heat exchanger. From the return of the water pass, return to the water flow indicator back to the water supply tank. A motor drive the converter, the blower, the water pump, the fuel pump, and a constant speed. The water bypasses the regulator automatically controls the steam generator output, regulating the amount of water fed to the coils. Before entering the coils, the water passes through a servo fuel controls, which admits the fuel to a spray nozzle in a portion of the amount of the water entering the coil. The servo fuel controls also the adjusting damper to emit the proper amount of fuel, the air, efficient combustion of the fuel. The train line steam and steam pressure regulated adjusting setting of the water bypass regulator. The length of the train width when weather conditions determine the setting. The remote control is usually installed in the cab portion and main containing the master switch separating the blow-down valve button. To open the separator, the blow-down valve with all units at the multiple train line shuts off the valve, and in the position some of the shutdown indicators power the steam generator motors and the controls obtained by the locomotive low voltage through the power fuse the circuit of the breaker can protection. All other equipment generators part of the independent unit. The details over covering the operation, maintenance, and troubleshooting should be obtained, but the referring to the instruction manual of specific equipment. C. Various controls to built into the steam generator, the wiring system. The fire fails to the light, the low temperature contacts the stack switch, remaining the opening after the 43 to 47 second time delay. Outfire relay contacts open, energizing the alarm pilot relay, de-energizing the line relay. The alarm rings and the generator shuts down the stack switch. High temperature contacts opens when the temperature exhaust gases exceed 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Energizing the alarm relay, de-energizing the line relay. The contacts must be manually reset after the stack temperature is reduced. The air switch contactors are closed by the pressure of the atomizing the airline. The air pressure drops below 40 pounds. Springing the tension opens the contact the brakes of the circuit of the air fuel solenoid coil. Valves of supply fuelings and spray of the head of the first goes out immediately to convert the continues the operation of the line relay coil circuit of the broken and atomizing pressure must be started with the control switch turned to the off and until to reset the off fire before the unit can be started, and the coil blow down valve switch is usually manually operated to break the line relay to the coil circuit when open with the control switch to the fill to run and the alarm rings, the motor converted with the operated under the overload conditions excessive, the currents passing of the motor overloaded and coil while open the relay contacts to break the line relay circuit of the alarm rings, the unit shut down. The control switch must be turned off to stop the alarm after the overload condition is corrected. The overload contacts must be manually reset before the unit can be started. The short contact reset to shorten the control circuit will below the circuit of the fuse, short the ignition circuit, which will blow the ignition fuse, and the short of the motor converting circuit, showing a blow of the fuse locomotive main control. The Field adjusting resistor is placed in the motor field of the circuit to permit the compensation maximum of 2-volt drops in line voltage because of resistance in the locomotive wiring. It should be adjusted to zero resistance, no use necessary, and adjustment required of the motor of the fuel line under the load of the condition reach the normal operating temperature, increasing the resistance until the motor is approximately 1800 RPM. The wired diagram is shown in figure 68. The fire alarm. A fire detection system consists of an electrothermostat mounted in appropriate remote points of the locomotive which operates as a fire alarm. The excessive temperature closes the circuit through the thermostat, thereby energizing the relay operates the fire alarm at the light of the bell. The engine should be familiar with the location used of the fire extinguisher, fuel outlet, and the stop of all devices in which are normally operated. Carbon dioxide, non-conductor electricity, which makes it desirable energy agency for the combination of electrical fires because of the lack of oxygen. Personnel must be the access to the air to avoid the becoming overcome. 1114 oil-fired engine heaters. Oil-fired engine heaters provide operation to serve the cold weather. It is necessary for the warm cooling or lubricating in the fuel oil system. And if the batteries lay over the resulted congealed fuel oil, the lubricating oil continue to the operation of the heaters is necessary after the engine started. The special installation of the oil lines and tanks compartments is part of the such of an installation which is often called the winterization system. The heaters are used as fuel in main locomotive fuel oil system. Small tank of the heater that automatically kept in the fuel. That even then, it may even be the heat of the reserve supply for the fuel starting the heaters after the heaters are operating in the supply. Heat and through the whole hot watering piping system at the exhaust gas system through the power plant of the essential auxiliary equipment and electrical motor that obtains its power for the locomotive auxiliary power lines drives the fuel pump, water circulating pump, the power blower fan, the fuel oil ignited with the fire pot, continuous electrical spark. The equipment does not eliminate the use of the draining of the cooling of the system, keeping it filled with the adequate anti-freezing solution with the locomotive to shut down necessary to keep the battery fully charged, and it can attempt to be preheated to start engine. Therefore, the highly important for the familiar equipment following the sequencing of operation exactly directed the operating instructions specifically to the heater. B. The power of the motor heater and the control circuit is obtained by the battery locomotive auxiliary power system. The heater circuits may be protected by the fuses, circuit breakers, or both thermostatic controls regulate the circulation of the water, possibly setting the radiator shutter the temperature in any of the compartment. A heater and exhaust gases is enough to actuate the thermostat in the compartment of the thermostat alone with the circuit of the solenoid regulating the damper which permits the exhaust gases to discharge to the outside of the atmosphere. C. Structural changes involved with the proper winterization, including the removal of the plates over the engine compartments, lowered louvers, properly hinged with the snow removal, additional air filters, weather stripped doors, and the hatches and fiberglass cab insulation with double glass cab windows. D. The operation model of the DH4915 hot water heater is completed with automatically with the started. The motor runs continuously while the burner cycles and the on and off. The two heater part of the unit consists of the two water jackets connected into the series water pumped in the outer water jacket through the inner water jacket and heated furnished into the combustion diesel fuel, which is sprayed with the fuel spread in the high fire pot. This is another drawing. It starts out with the ignition transformer in the engine. So it goes to the train, it goes through the fuses, it goes into a double switch rated motor to motor. Then to a resistor field, or then to the left, it will go through a parallel circuit to the starting resistor, which has a closed circuit, but and parallel while it goes through the resistor field resistors. In another circuit, and then to the right it goes to an overload relay, where the overload relay goes back to the pilot relay, to the ignition, to the rectifier, back to the field resistor, where the resistor then goes through a relay or a control relay back to the circuit, which can also lead to the starting resistor. Line relay follows all the way to on the outside, while the pilot valve and the contacting switch, cutout switch, and air contact switch, fuel bowl valve are all in one treatment soil. Then they continue from the pilot relay runs the fuel control relay on the inside circuit run treatments. Run the continuing normal closed outfire relay, fire relays, alarm pilot relays. Those are your relays. Alright, spray with the fuel sprayed into the fire pot of the finely open oil spray. Mixes the oil supplied with the below ignited with a continuous electrical spark. The base gas flows past the inner surface of the inner water jacket, then around past the outer surfaces. The gas flow past the inner surfaces of the inner water jacket, then around to pass over the outer surface of the inner water jacket, inner surfaces of the outside of the water jacket, and single electric motor driven the power blower fan of the fuel pump, water the circulating pump of the immersion of the thermostat, help keeps the water returning the heater to control the range of 110 to 130 Fahrenheit. The output rating of the heater is 150,000 BTUs per hour. The fuel consumption is 1.65 gallons per hour. The maximum output. Do not start the heater unless the system is completely filled with water. Starting the place main switch of the burner, the position the motor will start and circulate the water in the combustion in the air with the fuel and the bypass the back of the supply tank of the showing the fuel pump and the action of the fuel solenoid valve. The fuel rotate the fuel filter hand at least one revolution clockwise. Press the start button, then put the control switch in the operation. Fill the water with unless the temperature over range of the aquastat is adjusted. The heater shall fail to fire. The outfire the control with the burner down in the approximately 45 seconds. Wait 2 minutes and the rest depress the start button again. If the still fails to fire, check the troubleshooting section and appropriate operating instruction. On the DH type of unit, if the fire fails to light, if possible, check the operation. Hold the test button down and override the immersion thermostat, and using the unit and will fire to stop. Place the main switch of the off position. In the Caterpillar 397 diesel engine used on the Baldwins and Lima Hamilton 60-ton 500 horsepower switcher, the number one heater which supplies the heat of the engine cooling system, the fully automatic in operation, but number two supplies heats the auxiliary and semi-automatic in operation. Chapter 12, Air Brakes and Accessories.